I mean, first, it is a proposal for vocabulary, right? Like the biggest limitation is probably at the moment that we published this 2 weeks ago, and like we need to see if this lands in reality, and if organizations, if stakeholders start working with this, right? Like our operating assumption here is that there's a number of organizations who are in charge of these sort of like opt-out services. So they are, if you will, information intermediaries in between organizations like Spawning, or there's this TDM Rep working group, or there is a thing called TDM AI. But there's also big companies like Adobe who steward this CP2A standard. So like these information intermediaries, if they start working this, um, because they essentially convey the information from rights holders to model providers, then it has a chance to become something that structures this field. And if that happens, you're right, there's still limitations, right? Like one of the things that emerged, I think, during the time span that we were working on this vocabulary is this issue of sort of AI powered search or inference or retrieval or augmented generation, which is essentially when trained AI models make use of information or works that they find online in order to produce the output. So it's not used for training the model is already trained, but then the model uses something as input. We refer to that in the vocabulary as sort of an inference use case that we don't define yet. So we have, if you will, a placeholder. So at the moment, that is something. Should the vocabulary be taken up, I'm pretty sure that we will need to have a discussion also how the vocabulary deals with this particular form. And again, this is something that came up during the last year. And as you point out, this is very, very fast moving. So I'd be surprised if there's not other scenarios that we don't see at the moment that will come up in relatively short time. But it is designed as a sort of very simple, relatively flexible approach to that makes it expandable.